For the first time in 2.5 million years of human existence, we have before us the opportunity to create, for all our children and theirs, paradise or hell on earth. It's a huge responsibility, and it falls to those of us alive for this microscopic window in history to look after things. Through no fault of your own, you are one of those. And you need to be aware of what's coming. I'm Ken Joyce, and this is AI News. Hi there, and welcome to AI News, the programme that looks at artificial intelligence and associated technologies in business and in life, as it will affect us all as a species. Our MTP is to shift people from old world thinking to new world thinking. On this episode, we'll hear from Geoffrey Hinton, former head of AI at Google, about why AI is immortal. We'll meet also the world's most advanced humanoid robot. Over this series, we'll look at various AI applications for business and how they're expected to work. We'll interview those at the forefront of AI about their views, plans, and medium-term expectations. To begin with, though, we need to understand AI from a philosophical perspective, and that is the subject of this episode. There are four fundamental questions that mankind has been trying to figure out for over 600,000 years. 1, who are we? 2, how did we get here? 3, what should we do? And 4, where are we going? We now believe we know the answers to 1 and 2. Who are we and how we got here? We are an evolved version of apes and the most intelligent beings on planet Earth until now. We got here because the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago caused Earth to evolve 4.5 billion years ago. In the hot, bubbling mess of primordial soup on Earth 2.8 billion years ago, organisms emerged. And 6 million years ago, these had evolved such that we had the last common grandmother of humans and chimpanzees. Various forms of sapiens have been here ever since, and humans are the last surviving one of these. But we've only known about our evolution since Darwin's book On Origin of Species of 1859, and of primordial soup as the credible source of life since it was called the Oparin, I always have difficulty with that word, Haldane hypothesis work, and the work done particularly by Miller-Urey in 1952. So our first big two answers are largely accepted for only about 70 years, and still most people don't know about these. If the time since human evolution was a piece of string, this understanding would represent 0.00001%. So if our understanding is the length of a car, for instance, then the length of time for which we did not understand any of this is the number of cars it would take to completely go around the globe. The odds of the sperm that began your life creating a human were 300 million to 1 against. So the chance of you being alive at all is minuscule. But the chances of you being alive at this, the most incredible time of human evolution, where we turn from man to Homo Deus, where we create our own species for the first time, are almost non-existent. Yet, here we are. Against unimaginable odds, we live in the most exciting time ever in history on Earth. We are beset with primitive emotions, unfortunately, which evolved for survival on the savannas of Africa, and we must now suppress those instincts and evolve to a higher plane of consciousness ourselves. Infamous investor George Soros was asked how much money he would give each of his children, and he gave a very rational response. Enough money to do anything they want with their lives, but not so much that they can afford to do nothing. Soros ended up allegedly giving $1 billion to each of his children, which shows that when emotions kick in, these primitive things that shackle us, even well-accepted logic can go out the window. We need to now create AI such that it can provide humans with all we need to survive and thrive, but not so much that we can decay into our primitive emotions. It is generally accepted that there will, of course, be those who become bad actors for their own personal gain. But on the whole, as a species, we're generally interested first in the good of all, not just ourselves. We realise that for us to coexist as a species, we need to work together. There's little wisdom in claiming that 1,000 coal-burning power stations in the developing world can be mitigated by the gardeners in Naples, Florida, separating biological and recyclable waste correctly into appropriate garbage containers. Thus, extreme poverty and extreme wealth does not lead to peace on Earth. We must use AI to balance the books. Current debates suggest that this can be achieved by creating a global government out of probably the United Nations, that being the most likely infrastructure already in place, and using AI and quantum computing. I emphasize quantum computing because AI is insufficiently powerful without it. But if and when it becomes available, estimated to be within the next 5 to 6 years, we could, number one, sequester the harmful emissions out of the atmosphere, solving global warming. 2, generate free electricity for all through environmentally friendly alternatives, like, for instance, nuclear fusion, which could readily become available. 3, offering a global universal basic income to relieve global poverty. And 4, provide free online medical care for all, as well as free education, etc., etc., etc. All of these things are now, for the first time in mankind's history, available to all, or can be made available to all. Quantum computing and AI can show us how to achieve all of this. It can also show us how to destroy our planet and ourselves. How we use it will demonstrate to history who we intrinsically are as a species at this moment in time. Right now, the first humanoid robots are ready to begin coming to life. Figure AI released its Figure 2 in August 2024. Their published goal is to deploy autonomous humanoid workers to support us on a global scale. Have a look at this 2-minute video. In future episodes, we'll look at specific cases of how AI is being applied in business at this early stage. Today, though, I thought it best, by way of introduction, to take a quick look at the origins of AI and how we got to where we are today. Later on, we'll hear from Elon Musk and former head of AI at Google, Geoffrey Hinton. We'll look at some of the amazing technologies already harnessing AI to productive effect. And in each episode, we'll do a quick roundup, each episode except for this one, of all the latest in AI news. As always, should you wish to comment or get in touch, please feel free to do so. You can get more information about us and AI news at aiadvisors.io. And so to the origins of AI. A timeline of AI development. So, 1950s is where Alan Turing, he who solved the Enigma code in World War II and saved so many millions of lives, about whom the movie The Imitation Game with Keira Knightley and Benedict Cumberbatch was made, was a gay man. He was prosecuted for gross indecency and died as a result of eating an apple from his own hand, which had cyanide in it, so it was largely suspected that it was suicide. The British government was petitioned for years to exonerate him posthumously, but said that it was not appropriate under existing legislation. So new legislation was introduced, thankfully, and eventually on Christmas Eve in the year 2013. Queen Elizabeth II finally pardoned the poor man. In 1950, he drafted a paper called Computing, Machinery and Intelligence. This seminal paper introduced the concept of artificial intelligence and proposed the Turing test as a measure of machine intelligence. Now, you've probably heard about the Turing test, but if not, it's simply a test he developed whereby he said if somebody's put into a room and they are talking to two doors, they can't see who's behind either. Behind one is a computer and behind the other is a human being. And that person does not know which is which. Then the computer passes the Turing test. So it kind of pass itself off as a human, basically. In 1956, we had the Dartmouth Summer Research Project on Artificial Intelligence. This conference, often considered the birth of AI, brought together researchers to explore the possibility of creative thinking machines. It led to the 1960s and early AI programs where researchers developed programs that could solve simple mathematical problems, play games like checkers, and understand natural language to a limited extent. There was an AI winter then for a good while due to limitations predominantly in computing power and perhaps unrealistic expectations, which may be on the horizon again or may be happening right now, notwithstanding which funding cuts followed and a decreased interest in AI emerged. In the 1970s, we had AI systems called expert systems that could reason and solve problems within a specific domain, though. So, for instance, in medicine or in engineering, it could do specific tasks. These were knowledge-based systems, which relied on large databases of facts and rules to make decisions. The 1980s saw an AI resurgence. Advances in hardware and software led to renewed interest in AI. And we started looking at neural networks inspired by the human brain, of course. Neural networks were developed to learn from data and recognize patterns, that being exactly what the human brain, we have since discovered, does, or we knew at that stage, but I certainly didn't and do now. It's very exciting stuff. In the 1990s, machine learning algorithms algorithms. So many people say, what's an algorithm? So it's basically just a list of instructions that culminate in an event. So if I decide I want to get up and open the door over there, I will make a decision and my brain will say, send a message to push back this chair, then to stand up, then to move my right leg, then my left leg, mobilize myself towards the door, reach out my hand, grab the handle, push it down, the door is open, the job is complete, my eyes will send a message back to my brain confirming task complete, and so is the algorithm. So the algorithm is the list of instructions that my brain gives to my body to go and do something, and that is the same in any kind of computer algorithm as well, a list of instructions in other words. But machine learning, for the first time, had the ability to, in effect, learn without being explicitly programs. And these became more prevalent, as I say, in the 1990s. Applications of AI, where AI began to be applied in various fields, including finance and healthcare and manufacturing, also emerged. In the 2000s, with the advent of the internet, of course, we had big data available for the first time, massive amounts of data, and they fueled the development of AI algorithms capable of handling complex tasks. Deep learning, then a type of machine learning that uses deep neural networks to achieve state-of-the-art results in tasks such as image recognition, natural language processing, and speech recognition. I'll go into all of these in greater detail later on. How in the name of goodness can a computer decide what a picture is? It's mind-boggling, but when you analyze it and learn how it's done, it's common sense. It's just a lot of hard data processing. 2010s saw AI breakthroughs. Most major advancements in AI were apparent with the defeating of the Go world champion, and we saw the emergence of self-driving cars, and AI became a buzzword like it is today, and something in which everyone had interest. It raised, of course, the issue of AI ethics as well for the first time, and concerns about the implications of AI and what we should do it. And AI needs to be biased, and somebody needs to tell it, well, if you get this answer, therefore you need to do this. And who makes these kind of decisions? Is it going to lead to great job displacement? Autonomous weapons? All of these sort of questions started being asked for the first time, really. In the 2020s, we had generative AI models like the famous ChatGPT-3, which introduced a lot of people to artificial intelligence for the first time, and they demonstrated remarkable capabilities in generating human quality text, images, and other creative content. AI in everyday life then is increasingly integrated into things like virtual assistants, recommendations, personal medicine, and even smart homes. All of these use artificial intelligence. This timeline highlights key milestones in the development of AI, but it's important to note that AI research is a continuous process with ongoing developments and new challenges. In October 2024, Tesla and SpaceX boss Elon Musk told a Liberty Vault conference that he believes AI has an 80% chance of bringing us utopia, with the other 20% being total human annihilation. Here's what Mr. Musk had to say.
I think the spending on AI probably runs ahead of. It does run ahead of the revenue right now. There's no question about that. But the rate of improvement of AI is faster than any technology I've ever seen by far, and it's. For example, the Turing test used to be a thing. Now, your basic open source random LLM running on a friggin' Raspberry Pi probably could, beat the Turing test. So there's, I think actually, the good future of AI is one of immense prosperity, where there is an age of abundance, no shortage of goods and services. Everyone can have whatever they want, except for things we artificially define to be scarce, like some special artwork. But anything that is a manufactured good or provided service will, I think, with the advent of AI plus robotics, that the cost of goods and services will trend to zero. I'm not saying it'll be actually zero, but it'll be everyone will be able to have anything they want. That's the good future. Of course, and in my view, that's probably 80% likely. So look on the bright side. Only 20%, 20% probably of annihilation.
Geoffrey Hinton, the head of Google Artificial Intelligence, has been called the godfather of AI. He left Google to independently explain the good and the potential bad of artificial intelligence. Not as many media has suggested, because he thought AI was going to take over the world and lead to global domination and imminent demise of our precious little species. He just wanted to be able to speak from an absolutely unbiased perspective, i.e. not being paid by anyone. The University of Toronto asked him why he believed that human intelligence is ephemeral and why artificial intelligence is immortal.
So if I learn some connection strengths in a neural net that's being simulated on digital computers, then if a particular computer dies, those same connection strengths can be used on another computer. And even if all the digital computers died, if you'd stored the connection strength somewhere, you could then just make another digital computer and run the same weights on that other digital computer. But with us, the knowledge that we learn, the connection strengths, are specific to our particular brains. Every brain is a bit different. The neurons in your brain are all a bit different. And you learn so as to make use of all the idiosyncrasies of your particular brain. And so once you've learned connection strengths in your brain, if you told me those connection strengths, they wouldn't do me any good because my brain's different. So the digital computers are immortal because you can run that same knowledge on a different piece of hardware. We're immortal because the hardware and the knowledge are intricately entangled. You can't separate the connection strengths from the particular brain they're running in. And so if the brain dies, the knowledge dies.
From a business perspective, in the next episode, we'll see why what CEOs need to know is to make sure they are AI ready, and to ask, is the structure and culture of their organization ready to exploit what is coming? In many instances, organizations are resistant to change. They have what you could call an immune system, which attacks anything it does not recognize, as our own does in the human body. Usually in organizations, this immune system consists of existing staff, for instance, who feel threatened by new technologies and, like all of us, things they don't understand. We'll hear from former Yahoo guru, now OpenExo boss Salim Ismail, as to why this is the case and how to go about making your organization AI ready now. We'll also hear from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, as well as Meta Group head Mark Zuckerberg. We'll have an update on all that is artificial intelligence and AI related and how we can all benefit. In the next episode, we'll take a look at one business that has already successfully integrated AI. We look at what they're doing, how they learn to do it, what they hope to achieve, and how the journey has been so far. Until then, I'm Ken Joyce, and this has been AI News.